What's up, everybody? It's Jamey Jasta from Hatebreed here on the Vulgar Display of Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Vulgar Display of Podcast live from the Barn Studio. You got the Mox and Dale here, and we're joined online with the ultimate king ambassador of metal, the president of the pit, the mayor of Moshville, the senator of slam, Jamey Jasta Hatebreed.
Woo! What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. And first and foremost, let's get it out of the way. How litigious are you with that design right there? I guess I should say, obviously, the name is a Pantera reference, and we use the ride the lightning sort of backdrop, and then obviously the flames are a homage to one of our favorite bands, Hatebreed. So should we expect like a cease and desist anytime?
I think if we were going to do that, we would have had to start doing that years ago, right? I think we kind of missed the window on that, especially when people send me like all the different ones, Miley Cyrus, Weezer. I don't know if it was done by the artists or just by fans, but yeah, we see it everywhere, and it's actually, I think it's a cool little nice tribute to what is now, I guess, people consider an iconic logo. So it's fun when it gets looks in other areas, especially with a name that's kind of scary to normies. If people go, oh, what is that? And they maybe they look it up, and hopefully they see that the band is trying to do something positive.
Yeah. And like I said, our podcast as a whole is just a homage to the bands that we grew up loving. The new, we're really impressed with like a lot of the new bands that are out right now. I think just metal in general is in a really good state. And I think Milwaukee Metal Fest and Summer Slaughter is showing that, right? Because there's a little bit of old school, but then there's a lot of new bands on there that are catching a lot of attention and are exciting.
Yeah, man, it's exciting times, and I think just the feedback that I've gotten, like I like all the feedback, especially even some of the stuff that's negative, like as long as it's constructive when it's negative. Sure. And especially when something goes semi-viral or viral. I was on Garza's podcast, and we had a different lineup confirmed for Summer Slaughter, and then when the clip came out, I was like, oh shit, we had a bunch of behind the scenes nonsense, time wasters. And we were trying to get this thing launched and ready by July. And we were trying to also add a possible second leg, which fingers crossed, because by the time this airs, I don't know if this is going to air on the second or later, but say tickets go on sale on the second, and things go well, especially because we're doing places we haven't played in a long time, like Rochester, where we're going to have 2 stages. Places like Florida, which, of course, everybody's sending me this boating accident. I don't know if you saw that went viral. So I don't know what's happening with that, and I don't even want to think about that. But I think it's good problems to have because people are talking about it. And then, of course, with Milwaukee, it's like it's bittersweet with Devin being one of his last shows, and thank you so much to Devin for even considering doing the festival, because he's one of our top headliners, right? And he's been so prolific and so successful, and now he's going to take an indefinite break. So we're just happy that we're going to get him, on Saturday, May 17th with Zach Wild. But I urge people to come early at both Summer Slaughter and Milwaukee Metal Fest to check out the headliners of tomorrow. And, before you listen to all this chatter online and stuff, you really got to go and see the bands for yourself, right? Because until you hear the record or go see the band, or maybe you see a song in the set list that you're like, damn, that's a banger. Like that one really got the crowd going. Let me go listen to that album. Then, why would you listen to someone online, right? And also, the people who claim to be like these experts or these elitists or genre fucking scientists, they're not the ones going to the shows. So, but when I get sent an email from a fan or from someone who's in the industry who I respect and it's constructive, I'm always taking it in, because that's the only reason how we've been able to grow the festival for the last 3 years. And this year we'll have our biggest attendance of the 3. So, although, yeah, you can say, okay, yeah, you didn't get that underground, black metal, super elitist headliner or super elitist band. Well, listen, the visas are fucking, you know how much visas are just to file, I think is like $6 or $7 grand. And then they can take your money and go, nope, you're not getting in. So I get it. In some fans' minds, it's so easy to just book, Gorgoroth And if they were in control, they would have booked Gorgoroth. And it's like, no, you wouldn't have, because they can't get in the country. Or it's so easy to get your favorite deathcore band. Well, let me tell you, your favorite deathcore bands and your favorite death metal bands, they got egos and they don't want to play below certain bands, and they want to make sure they don't have to share a dressing room with this band. And then, so I can come in with the best fucking intentions ever, but let me tell you, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. And thank God for bands like Fugitive, Malevolence, Insight, Gridiron, bands like that are down and they're ready. Those are the bands, they jump at it and they get the opportunity. The other ones that want to nitpick and go, oh no, we want our logo bigger and this and that. Look at the past lineups. Does anybody care now that Whitechapel's logo was so tiny and at the bottom? No, it's about creating something new, getting in front of an audience and building. But I'm telling you, some of these egos are wild, and some of these labels, I love them. Like the good ones like Sumerian and Blue Grape and Nuclear Blast and RPM who stepped up, more power to them. But some of these other labels, it was a real grind. So fingers crossed that we can change their minds between now and the second leg, or Australia or the UK, because I really feel like Summer Slaughter UK can be a fucking banger with all the immensely talented underground acts that are coming out of the UK. But again, they gotta come to the table. Like we're sacrificing a lot, but they gotta be as well. We can't be nitpicking over who's sharing dressing rooms and whose fucking logos this and that. I mean, it's you should see the shit that goes on behind the scenes.
Well, I can't imagine.
No, and as a fan to hear that, like, that's crazy, because I've griped, and been like, why aren't they there?
Yeah, why aren't you coming to St. Louis?
Yeah. What about us? But hearing all this behind the scenes, like, it's nice to hear.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like the ones that step up, it's like the ones who want to play ball are the ones that are going to get the opportunity. And like Fugitive and Malevolence alone, I mean, I'll ride for these bands because they're stepping up, and that's the thing. It's not going to always be the exact, dream bill of every person. You can't please everyone. And when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. So
we're talking about all these younger bands, and how hands-on are you, like, personally, in organizing and selecting the bands? I'm sure you get pitched all the time, and we're actually going to pitch a couple to you too. But Ice Wrist from Nebraska and Gore Pig in Arkansas, they're legit ass bands. Ice Wrist from Nebraska and Gore Pig from Arkansas. Anyway,
say it slow for me, because I'm a caveman and I need everything spelled out. See, here's another thing. Like, bands will submit, agents will submit, and they'll just submit a name. Some of these bands, there's 5 bands with the same name. Like we dealt with this. We dealt with this for Milwaukee Metal Fest. I swear one day we got 4 or 5 bands with the same fucking name. And then I'm going and I'm looking, I'm like, well, which one is it? And then I'm looking at the social media. So here's just a little word to the wise, especially for the unsigned bands. Try to pick a name that's different from other names that are out there. Google Google your song titles, Google the album title, make it different so you can be searchable. And then also, if you haven't played out of state, or if you haven't even played out of your town, I wouldn't be trying to get on festivals just yet. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I wish someone told me that early on too, because I think I would have probably been further along in the first 2 or 3 years. Luckily, I got that right away, because I realize sometimes it's hard within your own little state or your own town. It's hard because sometimes those are the hardest people to win over. But once you do, and you show that you have a draw, or show you have a buzz, then you could start getting labels to come see you. You can start getting other promoters and managers to come see you. But man, it is a grind, and I feel for everybody out there. I already did it. I got to do what I wanted to do for the most part. I mean, I'm sure, of course, I still want to play, Madison Square Garden with Slipknot or Metallica or somebody. There's a couple things still left on the bucket list, but now that we're kind of in this elder statesman role, I definitely want to see some of the bands avoid the same pitfalls, right? And so now let me see if I can remember it. Gore Pig, GORE.
Gore Pig from Arkansas.
Yes.
So if like my daughter used to say, my daughter's 26 now, but she's, when she was 8 8. They go, "Oh, your dad's in a band? That's adorable. What band?" Hatebreed. You know, so if anybody in Gore Pig has kids like toddlers, what band?
Well, they start off with the what's the cartoon pig? Oh, Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
They start off one, and I'll send it to you. I'll email you a couple tracks from these guys, but they're like from down south, and it's nasty. So
nice. And then what was the other one?
Iced Wrist, I think, is
they're
to me,
incredible,
and we're pretty in tune with what goes on in metal. You know, we have to be. I think they're the best unsigned band that I've seen and heard of.
I see.
Iced Wrist.
Iced Wrist. Yeah.
Iced
Wrist.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. See, I really need repetition too, because there was for years there was I See Stars, the band I See Stars. I thought it was Icy Stars.
Icy.
So I'm like, yeah, like Icy Stars. So when you said that, I was thinking about Icy Stars, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, they're like, "I See Stars." I'm like, "Oh, that shit." Yeah. Or like when Unearth, Under Oath, and what was the other one? It was like I love some on Earth and some Under Oath, but I would fuck that up. Like I would literally fuck that up every week on Headbangers Ball trying to do the video. Like here's On Earth, and I would say the Under Oath video or whatever.
You know, we talk about it. So was the plan with the Summer Slaughter thing to be released later on, like all the information and the stuff? And did it kind of get put on, you know, we got to get this out quickly because of the Garza thing?
Well, so what happened was we accommodated a band. We jumped through hoops to accommodate this band. They wanted another band on the tour. Like we were just trying to play ball because we thought it was a cool band. And we thought the label was going to help with sponsorship and marketing, but they wasted our time and ended up not confirming, even though we jumped through hoops with them. And the other bands were dependent on this one band. And so, but it worked out perfectly because we ended up getting Fugitive and Malevolence, who are worth more tickets. And yeah, they might not be from that sort of subgenre that's more familiar to previous Summer Slaughter fangoers. But what previous Summer Slaughter fangoers don't realize is that there's literally an entire new generation of kids who got into metal music and heavy music over the last 3 or 4 years. So, you know, instead of being like gatekeeper elitists, they got to have just a way in to find new bands and see. So some of these bands, they don't get on your podcast or Sirius Satellite Radio or Full Metal Jackie Radio or some of the big metal specialty shows. They don't get on the big Wimmer festivals or the bigger tours. And those are the bands we want to highlight, right? And we're appreciative of all those outlets and all those fests and everything, but we're trying to do something just a little bit different. Now, saying it and doing it is also different, especially when you're not timing the interviews right or whatever. And it is what it is. But luckily, I think between just the interest from Australia, UK, and also South America, and then also the West Coast, like I got so lit up by West Coast people, my podcast email, my Patreon. Oh my God, Albuquerque, Denver. And I get it because those are two of my favorite places to play. Anaheim, LA, like those were some of the best shows on the 30th anniversary run. But it's also about venue availability, and then, you know, these other things that go into the like this dressing room shit. I can't tell you how many times I've had to share a dressing room, or I just don't even have a dressing room. And we've done shows where we just use the bus as our dressing room because some bands are in vans. But then those younger bands or those opening bands, they don't want to share bands with each other sometimes. So you're like, oh my God, can we just figure this out?
Yeah, let's just play the show. That's it.
Right. But I get it. The road is hard, man. It's a grind. And sometimes especially if you're not getting along or if there's drama, whatever, but we don't need to stick on that because it's in the past. I'm over it and the future's bright, especially if we get this second leg going, and that'll definitely help to appease some of the people, especially West Coast and Northwest who felt slighted, by us not coming there.
And talking about some of the early days, we saw you at the Creepy Crawl in St. Louis a million times. And we talk about accommodations. There were some times where you couldn't even use the toilet.
Yeah.
Right? where you're taking like parking lot baths with like wet wipes and stuff. And and part of you going through that and experiencing that for all those years, does that sort of make it meaningful to you to try to put some younger bands on that are on the grind?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I heard Gridiron and when I heard the new Insight and when I heard Snuffed on Sight, like here you go, like Snuffed on Sight had to cancel something happened. I think it was their drummer. They had to cancel Milwaukee Metal Fest. And for a band that was lower on the bill and sort of, not a focus of the Sunday lineup, we had a ton of disappointed people. I mean, people that cared about them more than some of the other acts on the bill. And so it was awesome that they were able to jump on the second leg and get on the Milwaukee show. So we got a makeup show out of them basically. Right. And of course, that's going to be one of those what do you call it? 2-stage, like kind of like mini festival things. So also people don't realize that there's other bands to be announced. So, they're also kind of jumping on the genre police thing without realizing that, like, for the biggest shows, right? Milwaukee, Detroit, Rochester, Grand Rapids, San Antonio, there are other bands that are going to get announced. But I get it. Everybody's got to whine and complain, but that we got to get over this victimhood mentality. Like, that's been something we've talked about in our lyrics for 30 fucking years. Like, you're not a victim because of a tour lineup. You're not a victim because of somebody says something online or whatever, right? It's like
first world problems. Let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then someone sent me this thing this morning. Chris Barnes said he got an offer for 6 Feet Under. I never heard of that. So, what's that? We got to make a meme. What's the grandma meme where it's like, okay, grandma.
Yeah. Like
go to bed.
Walker. Yeah.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
To me, I think with the Summer Slaughter thing, the slogan should be like bringing the slaughter back to Summer Slaughter, because, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but last year's lineup was just pretty odd. And I will say, like, I'm fans of some of those bands on that bill and on that tour, but Summer Slaughter was like Cannibal Corpse and Cattle Decap. It was like the hardest of the hard. Mm-hmm. And I feel like last year we lost that a little bit. So I'm glad to see, you're kind of bringing that back.
Well, also, I think people don't realize that before Summer Slaughter, Hatebreed was taking out Cannibal Corpse, taking out Exodus, taking out Napalm Death, taking out Black Dahlia Murder. Like, some of these newbies, you can't really blame them because they're just new jacks. They weren't around back then. They don't know the Slayer Hatebreed tours. They don't know the early shows with Internal Bleeding and the early shows with all sorts. I mean, we were really like at the forefront of combining death metal and deathcore with the hardcore scene. So they just don't know. So you can't blame them. And they're just showing their new jack silliness, right? And that's what happens. You weren't born into this shit. Like, people were doing it before you, and we'll be doing it after you when you go on and you become a lawyer, or you move on to fucking electronica music and you go to Coachella or whatever. But in all seriousness, the best part of doing something like this and co-branding with a great company like Sumerian and with a visionary like Ash and his team is that it puts us and it puts our name out there. Like, we got more reach. We got millions and millions of impressions that we wouldn't have got on a regular tour. So people also got to realize there's a strategy to this shit. So the more you comment, the more engagement we get, the more tickets we sell, and the better we look for the second leg. And I would hope that people know, by now that my heart's in the right place. Like, I just don't see a ton of bands taking out the smaller bands who maybe don't have the headline numbers or don't have those headline tours under their belts yet.
Yeah, and you guys, Hatebreed, you guys were absolutely the gap between the two, because back in the early 90s, I'm 43 and Dale's 40 something. So we remember those times where it was the hardcore community stayed within the hardcore community, and the metals heads stayed metalheads, and the punkers stayed punk. Hatebreed was such a bridge for that. And I think maybe, like Motorhead and some of those bands too. But during that time period, Hatebreed was such the bridge to some of that. And I know like you taking out like Dying Fetus and giving those guys exposure that in the death metal world or in the, whatever genre they were in world, they were legends, but you brought them to a bigger scale. And I think Hatebreed always gets the credit for that. And if they're not, they should.
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate it. I feel like it's just a vocal minority online that just doesn't know. They don't know the history. And that's okay. That's why doing something like this is great, because then it gets me out there. It gets the name out there, gets the logo out there again. And yeah, just like those tours you're talking about, taking out Dying Fetus, taking out Despised Icon, and even doing like, keep in mind, we've done wacky shit before too that people were like, what the fuck is this? And then it ended up being amazing. Like we did Hatebreed, Typo Negative, 3 Inches of Blood. Oh my God, you should have seen the MySpace. It was like, you would have thought someone got killed. Yeah. It was like, what is it? And then the shows are banging and you got the goth chicks in the front row frowning, and then they're loving it at the end with the horns in the air. And, I mean, it was great. So you just got to, look, no risk, no reward. You got to do that. You got to get out there. You got to collaborate. You got to work with other people. You got to expand your horizons, and you got to hope for the best. I mean, there's a reason why we've been doing this 30 plus years, and it's not, I really doubt it's from luck.
Oh, sure.
We've been talking a lot about Summer Slaughter. Let's talk about, I mean, we're 2 weeks out from Milwaukee Metal Fest, right? And this lineup, I think it's my favorite lineup. On Friday, May 16th, the headliner is Down, which, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Love them, right? Talk about the SOD tribute. I saw somebody online, and maybe you might have commented on it, where they were like, no Billy, no SOD. And somebody was like, you forgot the tribute part of that, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen you, doing some practicing and prepping. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah, we're getting ready. It's, credit to Billy, that flow, that rapid fire. I mean, God, it's like, but getting those reps in and doing it in the studio and doing it, going to Scott's house and jamming with Rev and Scott and Danny and just getting those reps in has been really helpful, because man, that fool was spitting. I mean, he was spitting straight fire. It was like, I mean, just kill yourself alone. Yeah. This shit is, and Freddy Krueger and fucking Fist Banging Mania. I mean, all those ones. I mean, this dude is like rapid fire, but it's fun for me too, because he's also kind of like more barky, kind of rappy, kind of shouty. I don't even know what you would describe his voice as. I guess shouty. Well, I don't know. What would you guys say?
Yeah.
Shouty, rappy,
yelly,
shouty,
yeah.
Yelly. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So it's different for me, and it's fun for me. It's just like there's a little clip on my Instagram of doing Freddy Krueger, recording Freddy Krueger, but like rehearsing it, like recording it, but not recording it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's super fun to do. I mean, I loved that album growing up. I love those songs. Credit to all four of those guys. They're all legends, and they all put out something really monumental and really fun. And it just goes to show, man, like this shit will find the ears it needs to find. It finds the fans it needs to find, and it lives on. And yeah, why not pay tribute to something that, like, I mean, I just love, and it's fun to sing. I'm over there yesterday. I'm like, can't take it, never could. Time to end it. Wish you would. Friends and family, they're all gone. Life for you is just a con. Do yourself on the ground. Push the daisies down. Take a dirt up by the farm. Inject a bubble to your arm. Kill yourself. Kill yourself. I mean, this shit is crazy.
And then it's like,
yeah, right.
The breathing on that has to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it like whisper style now, but like in the studio, I'm over there. I'm in the studio yesterday. I'm over there with Zeus, and I'm like, life is just a one-way ticket. Everyone must go around. Here's a bucket, go and kick it. Still out of sound. When you go to make it, when you go to make a big deal, no dramatics, don't overplay, because we'll all feel better once you're gone anyway. Kill yourself, kill yourself. I mean, the shit is fire.
Yes.
Yeah. What about playing the festival that you're putting on? Because there's probably pressure in both of those, right? So like, is that difficult to do? Play the festival that you're in charge of?
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to, but then there's people that want. There's more people that want you to than the the 10 online that are like, oh, he has to put himself on his own. It's like, no, believe me, just go to the show.
You can do it.
The internet's not real. Go to the show. Like I keep trying to tell people, like just go to the show.
Like, what kind of experience is that being like just that you're putting it on bands you love? You just get to have a whole weekend of just metal that you provided for everyone else. And you're like, yeah, I did this. And you can watch it, just watch all the amazing bands in one weekend.
It's really not about me. It's a collaborative thing. Like I got to thank the whole Rave team. I mean, everybody at the Rave. I mean, Joe, Leslie, Paul, Colin, Nat, Megan, Gabby, who we just lost. Thank you, Gabby. She's not on the team anymore, but Amanda, Jeff, and then everybody at Sound Talent, Tim, Jeremy, Jackie, Leah. I mean, we have a massive team and we have a great team. I just somehow became the kind of default figurehead because originally I wanted to just have Trevor curate it. And that when that podcast went viral and I said, hey, why don't we bring back Milwaukee Metal Fest? It was because it was so monumental for bands like us. I mean, and Hatebreed, people don't realize we played it a bunch of times and I went as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to In Flames, talk to Opeth, like talk to Amon Amarth, talk to Enslaved. I mean, Enslaved, which is so awesome that we got them this year. They were famously cut like during their set. I think they pulled the power on them. Deicide, who we had last year, Exodus was a big part of the early festival. Overkill was like the people's headliner, Testament. So it's about those bands. It's not about me. It's about those bands, the bands that and Jack and his legacy. We're really close to getting a trailer out for the documentary, but I still have to get a lot of footage done. This is the type of movie, like when people realize that this was before Ozfest, it was before Mayhem, it was before Warped Tour. Jack was a visionary and it crashed and burned hard. I mean, really, it was not good. He burned a lot of bridges, and I'm cool with Jack now, but a lot of people are not. And that will be in the documentary. I told him going into it, like it's going to be warts and all, unfortunately. But the drama and the story is so fascinating, and the downfall of it. And what happened. So hopefully we're going to cover all that in the documentary, and we're going to get the trailer cut. I'm hoping we get the trailer cut over the next 2-3 weeks and we get it out either by the fest or right after the fest, because I would love to get the Kickstarter rocking and get some fan support from it, because the fan support is key. I wouldn't have this And Jasta for All record out if it wasn't for everybody who contributed. I wouldn't have been able to do the Corpse Grinder record, who just, he absolutely killed it. And we're almost sold out of all the vinyl, and now fingers crossed it's looking like he's actually going to tour at some point in support of it. So he's another one. Mm-hmm. Let's get him on Summer Slaughter. Let's get him on Milwaukee Metal Fest 2026. So again, it just goes back to like there's a bigger picture, there's bigger plans, and it should be fun, it should be rewarding, it should be collaborative, and it should be fulfilling, right? Because you don't want every fucking thing to be a grind and be drama. You want to do the shows and the records. Like you want to be kicking ass in the studio. You want to be creative. And that's what we got to do with these records. Like this Many Eyes record, we got a big Many Eyes announcement coming soon. Keith is going to start. We got to get Keith on your show.
Oh my God,
yeah.
please.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted Keith, and he was dealing with some personal stuff, and he was at home, and he was spending time with his daughter, and I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. It is what it is. But the next album or the next EP, whatever it is, you gotta get back on it. You gotta get out there. You gotta do the interviews, and even without doing that, the record did great. The record is amazing. They did the Sum 41 tour. They did the Amity Affliction tour. Now they're getting interest from Europe and Australia and South America and other places. And they got a big announcement soon. So, but again, that was one of those ones. It was like an idea we came up with on the podcast. The fans supported it. They contributed. They helped pay for the recording. They helped pay for the pressing, and their names are forever in those records, in the inlays and in the sleeves and the jackets of the vinyl and the CDs. And that is something I would have killed to been able to do as a kid. Like if I could have got in the Obituary record, if I could have got in, and they did that too. Actually, they were the one I got the idea from, because I think did a Kickstarter, and then they had Relapse distributed or whatever. This was a couple records back. But so shout out to Obituary.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We can't list all the bands here, but the rest of the day, Saturday, May 17th, Black Label Society. I think I heard you say that this is one of their few shows this year because, Zach's obviously so busy. You mentioned the Death thing, and that's going to be special. Exodus, Death Angel, 3 Inches of Blood. I love that Between the Buried Me is on here because there's just such a variety. We've talked about this on the podcast before, is that like, and you are one of the, I think, main people that kind of put these bills together like we're talking about. You took Dying Fetus out. Well, that sound is very different from Hatebreed. I don't want to hear 5 hardcore bands in a row. Mm-hmm. I like the variety because I'm a metal fan. I like all the genres.
And can I interrupt you just real quickly? Yeah, sure. The fans that wanted to hear the bands that all sound similar in a row, trust me, we tried. We tried to make that happen for the fans. We tried to do Hatebreed, Terror, Throwdown, Bury Your Dead, anything that was like exactly similar or closely similar. We tried to do. Again, you're talking about who plays where, whose logo's bigger, who can do these days, who's already committed to another tour, who's going to be in Europe. It's not that easy. It's not like we're just deciding not to do that. Even bands that are somewhat similar, right? Like say Nails or someone, trying to think who else that people used to always say, how come you don't take out so-and-so? Well, we offered them and they were either committed to another tour or they just can't do it or don't want to play. I mean, think about the 25th anniversary tour. I'm amazed now when I look back at that. I'm amazed that got done. And I thank Obituary, Cro-Mags, Terror, and Fit for an Autopsy for working it out, because that's not a tour we could do now, because who would play where?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whose logo would be bigger?
and who would have a certain amount of set time and who would have a certain amount of stage room. And I get it, but I'm also in the position where we will go out and take a support slot. Like we went out and supported, we went first to 4 with Trivium, Lamb of God, and Megadeth. We went first to 3 with Black Label Society and Anthrax. And there were some shows where you got 2 feet of stage room and you suck it up and you do it.
Sunday, May 18th is my favorite day. I love this. Yeah. I mean, even going down, we kind of mentioned the Snuffed On side. I love them. Frozen Soul is killing it right now. Amigo the Devil. I know he plays some rock festivals. How did that happen?
We did a tour with Amigo, Dropkicks, and Clutch, and it was awesome. And we couldn't believe how many people liked. We couldn't believe how many people liked all 4 bands, and there was crossover between all 4 bands. There was a through line there. So as much as people think we're separated by genre or separated by coasts or areas, it was cool to see, because there's a lot of people that maybe they're not keeping up on the newest, latest hardcore or deathcore or metallic hardcore or metalcore or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but they like acoustic music now, or they like indie music now, or maybe they're into the whole Flogging Molly Dropkick scene now and that world. But they at one point had heard of Clutch or seen Amigo or seen us. And I think it was Tim. I think it was my partner Tim's idea. But yeah, I was like, dude, we love Amigo. His wife does merch for Hatebreed. So it just, yeah, it worked out. It worked out awesome. Really psyched. And the lyrics are metal. So anybody complaining, any elitists, they're always just online. They're never at the show. The show is everybody singing, loving it, buying the merch, and then you're like, where are all these? Where are all these assholes?
Yeah, all these assholes.
And then Dillinger playing Calculating Infinity with Dimitri is just, I think, special. Can't wait to catch that. And then you end the festival with the almighty GWAR, which cleanup has to be at the end, right? Because there's so much cleanup that happens. But yeah, I love this bill on Sunday.
Yeah, an arch enemy. I'm really excited for my buddy Joey. He's a Connecticut kid. He's got the gig now playing guitar. He took Loomis's spot, and it's big shoes to fill. Big shout out to Loomis. I'd love to just fly Loomis out to hang. But yeah, it's going to be a really good time, and everybody should check out Blood Dynasty, new arch enemy, and GWAR. I think it's safe to say that there's going to be some sort of prehistoric creature coming back into the fold for this show. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Obviously, I can't guarantee anything, but if it does happen, it's going to be just incredible.
Gave me chills right there. Milwaukee Metal Fest, the Rave, Ballroom, May 16th and 18th. And then we have the Summer Slaughter announcement, which is awesome. Hatebreed headlining that. And it sounds like there's going to be some more dates announced. Jamey Jasta from Hatebreed, the Ultimate King, Ambassador of Metal, President of the Pit, Mayor of Moshville, and Senator of Slam. My dude, thank you so much. We are big fans here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity to get the message out there and to get the word out about both the festival and the tour. We're really feeling blessed and feeling grateful that we're even having this opportunity to do things like this so far into the game, and we're off to Europe in June and August, and who knows, maybe look at end of August, look at early September before we do Louder Than Life. If leg one needs to do what it needs to do, then West Coast, tell your local promoter, hit up Sound Talent. Let's go.
All right, man. Thanks so much. And thanks for not suing us for this. And we'll catch you in Milwaukee. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take it easy.